I know you can feel overwhelmed as a beginner double bassist, but we're going to dig into my top 10 tips. So if you're starting out on this thing, this video is for you. I got links to everything that I'm talking about and additional resources in the description below, so feel free to dive in and go down any one of these rabbit holes. My first tip is posture. Whether you're standing like I am for this video right now or sitting, posture is key, and you want to make sure that you're approaching the bass as close to anything else in regular life. So if you find yourself compensating with your shoulder leaning down like this or taking your leg to support the bass, those are all things you're probably not going to do if you're just standing there talking to somebody or going to the supermarket or something like that. So you want your body to be as close to a neutral position as possible on bass. I've done an entire video on how to sit, how to stand, how to get comfortable with the bass, so check that out for more resources. My number 2 tip is to tune before every practice session. This instrument has a tendency to drift over time, and if you're practicing with your bass a little bit out of tune, it's kind of like being on unsteady waters. You're probably doing as much harm as good, or at least some harm probably. And there are many different ways to tune. I like to use these tuning harmonics here to just check. I can also check with the open string and the octave harmonic. I can use a tuner, and I've got a whole video on all of these methods as well. Number 3 is to start simple. Start with simple exercises. I start every day with the simplest possible of exercises. We're talking open strings, and I'm just thinking about my back and my body and making that connection between my large muscle groups and directing that right into the string. If I'm playing pizzicato, it's the same exact thing. I'm thinking about my arm energy and the weight of my arm and just directing that as efficiently as possible into the bass. One of my favorite methods for warming up is from the wonderful Susan Hagen. She teaches at Berklee College of Music in Boston and is just an absolute master on the double bass. We've got her book available in our sheet music store, and I've done a whole video with her on how she thinks about warming up and these exercises that she does. Number 4 is to practice with a metronome and a drone. Both of those are things that I have used ever since I started out playing the bass, really, and it's gotten so much simpler these days. I used to have to carry my drone, which is some boxy thing, and I needed to plug it into AC power, and maybe my practice room didn't have that, and I had batteries for my metronome. Now we've got these wonderful and terrible smartphones in our pocket, but wonderful for this. And my favorite app for practicing with a metronome and drone is Tonal Energy. This app rocks, and you can sustain whatever pitch you want. I like it, just practically speaking, because it's loud, so it really cuts through whatever's happening. It also has a really nifty metronome where you can do all sorts of subdivisions, and you can do them both at the same time. Very cool. I have a metronome and or a drone on probably about 50% of my practice time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And both of them are just reminders to stay in time and stay in tune. Number 5 is to listen to recordings. The more you listen, the more you're going to get inspired and grow on the instrument. And I have an entire list of recordings that I love of this instrument for both classical playing and jazz playing that I will include in the description below. And if you have some recordings that you love, let me know in the comments. Number 6 is to experiment with different techniques and articulations. That is true for the bow. That is true for pizzicato. There is so much to explore and love, and you'd think that we've discovered all we can do on 4 strings with a piece of wood and some horsehair or with our own 2 hands, but I'm continually amazed at how many things you could do, sounds you could create and explore. I have talked to well over 1,000 people from my Contrabass Conversations podcast, and I'm just continually amazed. Every time I think I've discovered everything there is to know about this instrument, I'm continually surprised. And I will link up to 2 videos that we've done about pizzicato technique and broadening that, and 2 videos about arco and developing that, and you can go way down those rabbit holes on my channel and many other places. Number 6 is to join a bass community. We bass players love to get together and trade ideas. We are very much a supporting instrument. Most people don't go into the bass to be the star. Some, maybe, but it's not very likely. And there's something special about when bass players come together. That was the inspiration for our website, Double Bass HQ, the home of the double bass community. You can find bass events there, and you can find all sorts of other resources there. And I have been a member of the International Society of Bassists ever since I was a teenager. I was on the board for, I think, 6 years of this wonderful organization. Definitely join that, see what they're doing. They are a wonderful resource for all things double bass, and I have enjoyed so much the biannual conventions. I did a write-up for the 2023 ISB convention, so check that out in the description, and I hope that inspires you to come to one of these events in person. If you do, I'll be there. Please come say hi. I love to meet people in real life. Number 8 is to take lessons. I can't help but say, check out my courses. I have a few online courses with Discover Double Bass. They have many other great bass teachers there as well, and it's just amazing what you can get in this online world. But, you know, in-person lessons, I still think there's nothing like them. The International Society of Bassists that I mentioned, they have a wonderful teacher directory for bass teachers all across the world. We've also got a Facebook community with almost 10,000 people in there, and they're a great resource for teachers as well. So if you want a quick answer and some recommendations that might not be in that ISB directory, though that's a great directory, you can dig into that as well, and we'll link up to that. Number 9 is to practice consistently. I would rather practice this thing for 10 minutes every day than like 1 hour every week or two. I go to the gym pretty much every day, and I think the consistency is so important. I make myself go to the gym to get coffee, and I always go to sleep wearing workout gear, and that has tricked me into being a person that works out. Do I love it? Not necessarily. Do I find the aggregate benefit massive? Yes. I think the equivalent is so true for bass, so I just make sure that I pull my bass out and practice every single day. I've got this practice app called Modacity I've used and talked about a whole bunch on this channel, and I have found that that's very helpful because I don't want to lose my practice streak, but just consistently practicing is so important. And I created a video about what I do when I have a bunch of time, when I have some time, and I have very little time, so check that out if you want to see what I do. And I think most important is just making a habit out of it and just carving out a little bit of time to just put your hands on this bass, even if it's literally playing one open D. It's like, okay, I played the bass. Hey, you at least check that box, you didn't break your streak. And number 10, and this might be the most important one, have fun. There is no such thing as a musical emergency. I may revise that in a really bad bar band situation, but really, my wife is a doctor. There very much are medical emergencies. Musical emergencies, not so much. Have fun. That's why we're doing this. And if you want to see bass players having fun and just how wacky we can be, check out this video we've got linked up.